Hey guys, welcome to another project. This one is mainly a shopping bag. Now you could use this with any scrap of fabric that you have, along with a denim panel completely lined inside. This is without a pattern. The reason I'm showing you without pattern is sometimes with a tote bag. The reason I'm showing you without a pattern is because you could use all the scraps that's left over and you don't really need a particular size of the fabric. If you follow the techniques, you could easily make up your own size and shape. Let's go ahead and get started with the project. Just go back all the way till the end. Go back all the way till the beginning of the seam again. Okay, so okay, here's the bast tape we have just sewn in. I'm sorry this is too big for I'm sure you can see the major part of the bag. So basically now what we're going to do, we are going to bring these two seams in like that, and then match this is a very important part of the bag, because if it doesn't match, all these efforts of making it neat is just going in the bin. So just make sure that you match the binding and the side seam properly. If you can do just this part first, I'm just going to do a tack here, and then I'm going to start from the beginning, go all the way till the end. Just a straight stitch, probably about 3/4 of an inch. You have already made the notch mark earlier, and that's the notch mark that the width of the notch mark that you have to sew all the way through. So I'm going to place a pin. I'm not going to film this because I'm just going to do a tacking first, and then I start from there and go all the way from there. Okay, we have finished sewing this, and I'm just going to open it up and press the seams open. If your binding matches here perfect, then it's going to be perfect on the other side. I think mine's about 1 millimeter away, 1 millimeter off. Ideally, I'd like to, if I was making it for somebody, I would probably go and remove the seams and redo it again. But today I haven't got a lot of patience. I've been up from since morning trying to do some other work, so I'm just going to go ahead and iron this and go on to the next step. Okay, because this is a shopping bag, it's not necessary that you have to do top stitch on either side. Because it's a shopping bag and I want it to last for a lifetime, I'm going to go and sew a top stitch on either side, about 1/4 inch of an away from the center seam, and go and sew top stitch. I'm not going to film this because it's just too cumbersome, but I'll stitch this, come back and show you what to do. Okay, I'll put the top stitch in. Now I'm just going to turn this over. Okay, now match your two seams, seam to seam, and I'm just going to place a pin. And then just spread it through, so you kind of, okay. So now we're going to cut the base of the bag on the two corners, and then just finish the bag. Okay, now I have pinned the top of the bag, so I kind of have the opening of the bag properly, because we're going to put a top stitch in the end, and we're going to finish the bottom of the bag. My pin at the side seam is still here, so I'm going to show you this end by zooming in and show you the close-up. This is a 2 by 2 inch wide template. We're going to leave the seam allowance at this end, which is a little more than 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to make this mark. Okay, now I'm going to cut all the layers, the denim and the main fabric. Just be careful when you're cutting like this that you have to be very accurate at this rectangular that we are trying to do. Now I'm just going to go to the other end, remove my pins. It's going to be a little bit tricky because there's seam here, and place this on top, use this as a template and make my marking. I might have to cut this one at a time because of the seam join, and I'm just going to try and do that. Okay, these two corners are now cut, so we need to close the base of the bag. So before we close it, basically just shift this one up, and then now we just go and close from here to here. This is 1/2 inch, and whatever seam allowance you have left, and from here to here, which is 1/2 inch. Okay. We've closed the base of the bag. This is not important, but it would be nice if you could do it. Just open the seams so the seams lay flat at the bottom of the bag. So I'm just gonna give it a good iron and press the seams open. I'm gonna do the same on the denim side as well. Okay, now what we need to do is, this is all we have as a, you know, the one of the holes. We need to go and get hold of the handle and try to push the whole bag from here. This will take a little bit of time, so just give yourself plenty of time and do it little by little. If you have put pins like me, it's going to poke your hand, so just be careful and the whole bag will come out. Okay, so we have turned the bag inside out, and all we need to do is just close this bottom hole, bottom of the bag. So we are going to hold it in like that. Now you can see, because we use this side, it's all a little bit crumpled, but it's going to be all right. So just hold both the corners and just make sure you're holding the denim in. It would probably be better if you kind of pull the denim a little bit like that. Okay, so I'm going to place a pin. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, these are the two corners that we are going to finish now from the outside, not from the inside, from the outside. So I'm going to show you one corner. You go and repeat the same thing to the other side of the bag. Okay, so I have pinned it. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to put a stitch which is like 1/4 inch away from the edge, just a stitch first, and then we're going to cover this with bias binding from the outside, so it's a little bit of decoration at the bottom and you get a neat base as well. I'm going to show you this in closer. First I'm going to do the stitch first. I'm not going to film that, but I'll go back and I'll come back and show you how to do the bias binding, and then I'm going to film it. Okay, I have put a stitch on this bottom corner. Now this is the bias tape which I have cut out. This is the bias tape which I have cut out a little bit extra. Now I'm going to place it, leave equal amounts on either side, place it right next to the stitch that we have just sewn, and go and sew an edge stitch. Only at this stage, no folding, nothing at this stage, just an edge stitch. I'm going to film the whole process so you will see the step by step. Okay, just to let you know, this is the bottom base of the bag and underneath is the side of the bag. Okay, now what we're going to do, we basically need to fold it in and put a top stitch. But before we put a top stitch, what we have to do is just trim a little bit of this allowance again, because if you have taken more, then you can see this stitch won't be covered. So I'm just going to hold my bias tape like that and trim out any excess of seam allowance here, and I'm going to leave only about 1/8 of an inch of allowance, so it just holds in place. Just take your time to do this, because this denim is quite thick, and also I'm using curtain fabric which is again thick, so we don't need so much. I'm going to trim a little bit excess off there. So, okay, now if you watch carefully, I'm just going to fold it in, and when I fold in, you have to make sure that the bias is going a little bit cross here, so it's not aligned with the edge, it's a little bit cross. And now you fold it in like that. Okay, so that way you see we are binding the bottom base as well, and then this is coming away from the edge. So I'm gonna hold my machine there and start with the back stitch and sew to the edge of the fabric. Sew on the edge of the fabric. So when I come here, I'm just going to do exactly the same, fold it in inside and push all the seam allowances inside and finish with the back stitch. Okay, while I'm on the machine, I'm also going to just go and do a stitch at the edge of the bag at the top. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to attach the handle onto the top of the bag. That way the handle won't flap about.
Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I shall see you next time.